Well, welcome everybody virtually and welcome everybody here this evening. I appreciate you coming out tonight to learn a little bit about the EFT, which stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, also known as tapping. Are you familiar with it? Is your first time? You've been doing it prior? You saw it online? No. Okay. Okay. And I don't know about anybody who's virtually with how familiar you are with it, but it is a very, very good and powerful modality for anything related across the board, from stress, anxiety, pain, any type of obstacles that you really, sometimes habits that you want to try and overcome. This is really a great modality for that. I've been doing this quite a while, in my coaching program. By the way, I think Crystal might have introduced me, but my name's Donna Nestoruk, okay? I am an acupuncturist and I do a lot of sound and energy work, and coaching is one of the modalities that I use to work with people, and EFT is part of what I do with the coaching. But I love sharing it, and I keep this evening's program very generic with stress and anxiety. Is there anybody that has never experienced that? Okay, usually I'm pretty safe with that one, so I keep it pretty generic. I'm not looking to target any one person and any one issue, so it's just really, really great for that, as well as the other things that I did mention, even like trying to overcome habits. And I worked with somebody even that had some sleeping issues because of monkey mind and everything that was kind of like wearing on her mind and making decisions that she had to make, and really, really helped her quite a bit even with that. So feel free to use it for whatever you want when you get home. The first part of this evening, I like to discuss why EFT works so well, okay? Because what we're tapping are beginning and endings of acupuncture meridians. And with my background in acupuncture, I will be able to explain to you a little bit more why these meridians are so powerful, and partly because there's an emotional component to each meridian, and I will go through that. I will also explain the tapping points and what meridian we are tapping, so that you would be able to correlate what emotion perhaps you might be working through, or maybe even not aware of, but maybe you're feeling certain things in certain parts of the body and you say, oh, maybe that's what it is. I will be handing out a sheet later of the tapping points, and that's pretty clear, so that when you do get home, you'll be able to use that as follow-up. And I believe everybody virtually has a copy of the same paper. So basically what we're looking to do is really take control of our mind, okay? If I ask somebody what stress overcomes you more than anything, everybody always has an answer of something that they're always thinking about, or even something new that may be wearing on their mind. And what we really need to do is get a handle on some of the stresses that really take control of our day-to-day lives and wear us down, and also that worrisome mode that we tend to sink into periodically, because situations seem like they're out of our control or anything like that. So what I always like to share with people, which I think is very promising, is that the one thing that is in your control is how you respond to situations, not how so much you react to them, because reacting is really habitual, okay, but really how you respond, okay, knowing that hi, how are you? Knowing that you can step back from a situation, really take a closer look at it and saying, do I have control over it? Okay, that's really, really important. Is it something that you truly have control over, or are you worrying about something that you have absolutely no control over because the outcome really has nothing to do with what you're going to do next? It just has to unfold the way it is. Okay, so this is what we really like to take a look at when we're working through certain things. And like I said, today is going to be a little bit more with stress and anxiety, but you can really take that approach even with other situations. Okay, so the one thing I like to always mention to people too is we're really working with the subconscious mind here, okay? When I say we're working with the subconscious mind, it's because so much of what we do is habit. We just are so used to reacting to certain things, certain ways, because that's just what is normal for normal, okay? And because it's habitual, we just go right into that mode. But what we're looking to do is take a step back. But why is it in our subconscious mind that we just constantly are reacting to life that way? Well, basically, our subconscious mind, our limbic system, holds all of our emotions. Okay, the hippocampus back here holds all of our emotions from all of our experiences in life, and then we have the amygdala, which is also part of the limbic system, and that's really where our fears are held. Okay, and very often our decisions are based on our fears or our life's experiences, whatever they may be. Not everything is horrible, so we do have good outcomes as well. Okay, we're not only thinking of negative, but what we want to do is make our life even better than where we're at, because we can always continue to improve ourselves. Okay, so what's really important is how neuroscience has really brought so much forward for us. And what they found out is that we have approximately 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day. Okay, this is neuroscience. I don't have any back pocket today that I'm just pulling this information out of, okay? So neuroscience has shown that we have approximately 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day. What I ask you, no need to answer, is how many of those thoughts are positive, right? Usually, most people don't feel like they're spending the majority of their day in a positive frame of mind. Usually what the feedback I get from people is, you know, I hope the kids are okay. I hope my job's secure. I hope this one doesn't get sick. I hope this, and I hope that, and I hope this, and I hope that. And they bombard themselves with the concerns of things that they really have no control over, okay? And what we really need to do is reframe how we're approaching our thoughts, our daily thoughts, and catching ourselves, all right? Not feeling like we have to be in a negative mode, in a worry mode, or anything like that. And very often when you find yourself, you know, thinking like that, you could catch it. You could catch it and reframe it. And that really helps you to get to a much more positive perspective of where you want to be mentally, emotionally, and physically. Because every worry, every overthinking process is really taking a toll on the body. And you're going to see that when we get a little bit more to the protocols. So I wanted to read to you a little bit about the subconscious mind. I love all the information that neuroscience has put out now, because what I really want you to understand about the subconscious mind is it's like a recorder. Back in the day when we had the two reels of the tape, right? That little beige tape, we had two reels, and we'd take a microphone and we'd sing into it, or, you know, put a little play together or whatever. And that is like our subconscious mind. It's like the reel in our head. It just keeps playing and playing and playing the same tune over and over and over again. Okay, so whatever we're feeding into our heads is basically what is going to keep replaying. Okay. Now, when we were kids and we had that recording system, what we did when we wanted to change it was we would rewind it and we would give it a new story, right? A new song, a new story, whatever it was. And that's basically how we have to approach ourselves, because what we're working with is a neural network within our brain. So a neural network, we have a neural network the way the brain is wired. Okay, they say the brain that fires together wires together. Okay, so it's all how everything is exchanged. And so when you start changing how you think, you're creating a new neural network, and it becomes a new positive frame of mind. So basically what we're saying is, yes, you can change. You can change the way you approach situations. You can change how you think about certain situations and even people, okay? And it's really a remarkable way of approaching life, okay? Because it frees you, it gives you a sense of freedom to know that that is what you have control over. That the way you can look at a situation, the way you could approach a situation or a person or circumstances, that is where your freedom lies. And so basically we're creating a new neural network. Now, that's the bright side, okay? Because there's always going to be another side to this that could be a little challenging. And we've seen people who have stopped smoking for 30 years, right? Or plus, whatever. And they did great. That was really, they were changing their neural network. They knew that this was what they wanted to do, and that in order for them to do that, they had to make a decision. It was in their control, and they were able to do that. And then sometimes with some people, what happens is a stressful situation comes, and then they pick up that cigarette again. So what happened there? The old neural network was only sitting dormant. Okay, that new neural network has to constantly be fed that positive perspective on how you speak to yourself, how you're approaching circumstances. You have to always, it's like when you're rearing a child, you don't want to be positive one day and negative another day. You want to be consistently positive, and if there's a bad day, there's a way of approaching it so that it's not disastrous, right? And that's how we have to approach ourselves, so that when we feel weak, we know how to speak to ourselves to overcome a situation. So remember that that old neural network is still embedded in us a little bit there. And so we need to constantly fuel that new neural network and give ourselves that positive information. What I also really like to explain to people is that we have our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. And here's where habits come in. We only think from our conscious mind 1 to 5% of the day. That means 99% of the time, 95 to 99% of the time, we're really in our subconscious mind. We're living out of habit. We're responding and reacting out of habit, out of our daily life. Okay, this is all neuroscience. Okay, I didn't put any of this information together on my own. It wouldn't come out this good. It wouldn't be that accurate. So that's really important. That right there is very empowering. Okay, to know that consciously we're really only in control 1 to 5% of the time of the day. And here's an example. When we first learned how to drive, we went into the car. We were very conscious. Open the door, put my foot on the brake. I got to turn the key, do the 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, look in my mirrors. That's all very, very conscious, right? That was the 1 to 5% that I'm speaking about with our conscious perspective. Now we get in the car, and now we're working from that 95 to 99%, and we could plan a party for 100 people without even thinking about driving, right? So you see that we are really working out of our subconscious mind most of the time. We're aware that we're in a car. We're aware that we're driving. We're aware that we have a destination, but we barely have to think about it. How many times do we really get someplace and say, wow, I'm here already? I didn't even remember, driving or passing, such and such a landmark, because subconsciously we just know what to do, unless, we have GPS and we really have to watch carefully the directions we're going in. And just so you know, I've used this modality myself for quite a few things, and it really is a remarkable way to work with yourself. And the beauty of it is, when you're done here tonight, this is something you could do every single day for yourself. I have to keep my hands like this. The Italian in me comes out and I'm like this all the time. But otherwise, you'd think I was throwing pizza up in the air. But it's really so beautiful, because a common question I get is, well, should I do it in the morning? Should I do it in the evening? What's the best time to do it? And really, the best time to do it is when you feel you're in a dilemma where your mind is being controlled by certain thoughts and behaviors and so on and so forth. That's the best time. Okay. And so you want to kind of tap that out and relax your body. And then it's almost like stepping it back. Let me see a bigger picture of what actually is happening. Okay. But if you really think about starting your day before you actually, sitting up in bed at the edge of your bed, starting your day doing this, put yourself in a positive frame of mind, ending your day before you lay down, and just allow your body to feel relaxed before you go to sleep. That's really wonderful. That is really, really a wonderful day to begin and end the day if you don't really feel like you're in a dilemma. Of course, when we're tapping, different parts of the body, it's not something you feel comfortable doing. If you're driving in the car, you look like you have fleas or something. But, I had one client, she says, I don't care. She says, I don't care if anybody sees what I'm doing. I'm just tapping because I feel good when I do it. I was like, okay, that's great. Whatever you want to do, that's fine. But the important thing to understand is it's about taking care of yourself. One of the things about EFT also, and the protocol that we will be doing, is we also do positive affirmations, okay? And that sometimes is when people go, oh, positive affirmations. I don't like positive affirmations. I feel stupid. They're so awkward. They don't work. And I always say to people who kind of come up with that feeling, well, if positive affirmations don't work, tell me why negative affirmations do. Okay, because we will believe negative things about ourselves. We will believe negative things about circumstances. We could do a lot of hypothetical situations where disaster is going to happen before a possible good outcome. And, there's so many ways of really looking at things. And positive affirmations are really a way of just saying everything is good. Okay, it's really about bringing yourself to a frame of mind where you feel that you are in control of your thoughts, of your emotions, and of how you respond to circumstances. It's about taking control of your thoughts. I once had a client who was a retired police officer. And when I was coaching this individual had a lot of issues with trusting their decisions in day-to-day life, not on the job. Okay, trusting their decisions, always doubted themselves, always wanted a validation from somebody else. And I said to the individual, he says, well, when you have your police uniform on, did you ever take the badge off and put it on somebody else? And the person said, well, no, why would I do that? I says, well, that's basically what you're doing in your day-to-day life. You're disempowering yourself and having other people validate what you feel like you can make a decision on your own about. Now, that doesn't mean we don't look for other people's input. I'm not saying all or nothing at all. I'm really speaking about people who really just don't trust their decisions at all, always need that validation and doubt themselves so much to a point where it's a disadvantage. So when I said that to the person, they were like, oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Like, I wouldn't disempower myself if I was in my uniform. So why would I do that in my day-to-day life? And that's really what we want to think about. All right, we want to think about, why do we disempower ourselves? Why do we give power over to somebody else to make decisions for us? Why are we doubting ourselves? Why don't we just take control of the situation, look at it, and it's okay to ask opinions, but we really want to feel secure about what we're doing for ourselves. And a lot of that comes, we do self-sabotage ourselves a lot. That comes from just the negative way of thinking. We already tell ourselves we're going to fail before we start. Right? So often people will start different programs, whether you go into a gym or whether you're starting to trying to overcome something, and, oh, I've tried that before, it's not going to work. Well, how do you know the next time's not going to work? Why are you setting yourself up for that? Because automatically we tend to self-sabotage ourselves. It's almost a way of allowing ourselves to be free of success. And then what do? And then we sometimes blame somebody else for not succeeding, or we blame circumstances for not succeeding. And we've heard so many different stories on people who have succeeded in life despite their background, their upbringing, their financial circumstances, their whatever it was. We've heard these stories. Why? Because they believed in themselves. I mean, a local, Billy Joel, was told by his music teacher he would never make it. I mean, I'm sure he would have loved to have seen the expression on his teacher when he became very popular. You know, why did he make it when he was told so often, or even that once that could have been so impressionable that, you know, he wasn't going to make it? Why did he make it? Because he believed in himself, or maybe he had a grandmother that believed in him, or somebody else was also fueling him, saying, you got it, you got what it takes, even if it's a friend that believes in you. We have to surround ourselves with people who lift us up. I was just reading an article today, and I forgot who came up with this saying, you know, look at the people that, the five people that you surround yourself with most often. How do they make you feel? Do they lift you up? Do you feel exhausted after you're around them? They usually say circle of friends, right? You know, do you feel exhausted after? Are they negative? Are you sharing a desire with them, and they see the bad side first versus the good side? I mean, we've all gone through that. I've gone through this when I went through acupuncture school. I mean, 20 something years ago, it wasn't like as mainstream as it is now. And, you know, I had people thinking I was doing something underground. And then when I started studying tuning fork therapy and sound therapy, I remember my father even saying to me, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Who's going to do that? You know, it's just incredible. And yet I teach it. And I do it, private sessions. I mean, because you have to believe in yourself. You can't allow other people to direct you down a negative road because maybe they don't believe this type of thing about themselves. And so they see the negative first. And you need to say, this is my life. I know what I want for myself. Okay. Same thing, you know, when tapping first came out, people were like, you just tapping, you know, certain parts of your body. I mean, that, you know, it's just like from the head to the torso, you're tapping. Like, what are you doing? And when you explain things to people, it starts making more sense. And then there is a science to it, right? When you really understand that it's the beginning and ending of acupuncture meridians and the emotions that are related to it and so on, and what you feel like afterwards, it's really, really uplifting. So the main thing to really understand is that we need to be in control of our thoughts, right? And we want to be in control of our behavior, and we want to empower ourselves. And when I say empower ourselves, I'm not speaking about being a bulldozer in the household. I'm just speaking about standing in your own power, about what you want to do, how you feel about certain situations, and how you want to deal with certain situations as well. And like I said, you could go across the board with that, but we're just looking at stress and anxiety tonight. And so you could overcome obstacles. You could take control of your thoughts at night. You know, one example, when I was working with this individual who couldn't sleep, and I was also giving a presentation just right when I started with her. I was doing a staff appreciation day, and I was saying to them, I said, do we ever wake up 3 o'clock in the morning and think about how grateful we are? Or do we just go into that monkey mind of everything that's wrong? And I think I should start worrying about this. And what am I going to do if this happens? And what should I say to that individual? And I got to go to work and face that person. And we go all the way down. We tumble all the way down the staircase. Did you ever wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, not be able to go back to sleep, and say, I am so grateful for the pillows, because I'm sure we have one between our knees, one behind our back, one under our head, right? Holding our arms up. We're very well padded, right? We have covers. We have a roof over our head. Do we ever really wake up and think about how grateful we could be, even though we're feeling a little restless? That, wow, I wake up 3 o'clock in the morning. That happens to me. And then I say, I know I am safe. I know I am comfortable. I know that I am in a good place. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm with my family, and I know everything is okay, because that doesn't mean nothing will ever happen to me. But I know in that moment in time, I'm fine. And it relaxes my whole body. And when I take a breath with that, my whole body relaxes. I feel my shoulders going down. I feel my neck loosen. All the tenseness of waking up and starting to think those other thoughts. And then you say, wait a minute, let me catch myself here. I really feel good. I'm really okay. So when we change our thoughts, when we change our perspective, when we really look at where we are at, it really allows us to get a better handle on life and on circumstances. Now, of course, some people have it worse than others, without a doubt, and other people make it worse for themselves, without a doubt. It really, everybody is dished a different deck of cards, or however you want to say it, but it really is about how you look at your circumstances. One thing I said that already. Yeah, so one thing I really want to mention also is that the subconscious mind is a very, very powerful, it's just a really powerful way of our minds just really making us do the things that we do, and that is what we are reprogramming. So when I go through this with you, this is really what we're working with, is our subconscious mind, and we have the power. So in other words, the subconscious mind does not know the difference between true and false, fiction and nonfiction. It will believe anything you say. It's like a best friend that just will never rebuttal anything you say. If I said this wall is white and somebody else says the wall is beige, and somebody says, well, I see a little pearly color in there with a hue of blue, it's your reality. That's what you see. That's your subconscious mind saying, I believe anything you tell me. That's what it is. And so that's what we're working with. We're really working with the power of our subconscious mind, reprogramming it, telling it a new story. We're rewinding that tape. And we're telling it a new story about ourselves, about what we think about ourselves. I am proud of myself. I feel good about myself. I could wake up every morning and do something positive for myself. And like I said, it doesn't mean you're not going to have a bad day. What it means is how will you approach that bad day differently? All right. So now I always leave room for questions and answers somewhere along the line, whether it be at the end, but I usually try to address what the most common questions are ahead of time. And I will do that now. When we tap, I usually just tap one hand. It doesn't matter if you used your left hand or your right hand. It really doesn't matter, okay? If you want to use both, use both. It just doesn't matter how you want to do it. It's just a matter of you're doing it. And again, time of day, always when you're feeling the worst, but beginning and ending of a day is wonderful also. What is wrong with giving yourself a little extra perk? 2 minutes? Can you afford 2 minutes out of your day? You'll see how fast this goes. In the beginning, I've had plenty of clients that, you know, when we do positive affirmations, oh, can you type those out for me? Yeah, I'll type them out for you. But eventually, you're really just going to use your own verbiage because that's what you're going to be most comfortable with. You know how you want to, you know, what you're working with and what you want to say. When we do positive affirmations, it is imperative that we are enthusiastic because remember, our subconscious mind is going to believe us. How believable are you if you say, yeah, I feel good today. Yeah, this is a great day, isn't it? Yeah. No, that's like Eeyore in the Winnie the Pooh, right? The elephant. Thanks for noticing me. Oh, ho, ho, drum, right? No, what we want to do to make ourselves believable is today is a great day. I feel great today. Now, do you have to shout it out in your household if you have other people that you live with? No, you don't. Okay. It is good if you can be verbal because that it's like writing versus just saying something to yourself. It really makes it more of an impact. But really what the impact is that you're being enthusiastic about it. Make yourself believable, right? If I say to you, yeah, I've been an acupuncturist, 23 years. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Would you really want to come to me? Would you feel that confident saying, wow, I really want her? Just all that energy I really want to feel when I go to an acupuncturist. No, you want somebody that says, yeah, I love what I do. I'm always studying my topic because there's so much information out there and it makes me a better version of who I am as a person and who I am as a practitioner. Now, would you want to go to me? Right? Do you understand, or anybody? It's funny because, years ago, they always had these networking groups and they always promised, well, you'll be the only one in this group. We meet once a month and you'll be the only one in this group that does this. And I said, why? I don't want to be the only one. And I don't want only one choice if I'm looking for something. And they looked at me like, well, why not? I says, because when I connect with somebody, it's an energetic connection. It says, you could have 5 other people that do what I do. They're going to choose me because of something, not because I'm the only one here. And maybe they'll choose somebody else who does the same thing as me because they feel connected to them. I says, and that's what it really should be about. It should be an energetic connection. I says, I don't want to have to choose one financial person and one lawyer and one dentist and one accountant. I want a selection here, right? So I never joined. But anyway, the point is you want to make yourself believable. Talk positive to yourself, right? Talk positive to yourself. I just had a bite to eat with my husband before I came here. And I said something to him and he misinterpreted how I said it. And I said, that's not what I said. He said, well, you said if this, that, and the other thing happens, that's what's going to happen. I said, no, that's not what I said at all, but that's typical, isn't it? We just had our 43rd anniversary last night. We're still trying to communicate, but it doesn't really matter. That's a challenge, right? But, you know, the main thing is like, I said to him, I says, no, that's not what I said. I wasn't putting that in a disaster mode. Why did you pick up on it like that? Well, because you said if. I says, no, I said if because it could be 20 years from now. So I don't know if that would be an outcome of what we were speaking about. I says, but to me, there's so much room for positivity and possibility. And, you know, we want to keep ourselves open to new opportunities. We want to we don't want to think the door has closed on us because of our age or because of our economic status or because of our health or because of 1,000 reasons we could give ourselves to fail. There are an unlimited amount of possibilities out there. It's how we look at it. It's how we approach it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is hand out these sheets. They are abbreviated. We'll go through that abbreviation in a moment. Okay, sure. There you go. Sure, hon. Okay. You want one? Okay. You got to do that when you go home tonight. Okay. And so really what we're looking at is really trying to create that positive feedback that we need in order to have positive outcome. And just remember, the subconscious mind is all reliable. It's loyal to us. It's going to believe whatever we say. So what I'd like to do first is the KC, the karate chop. That is on the side of the hand, and we just go like this. And this is actually our acknowledgement, the acknowledgement of what it is, of what we want to overcome, what it is we're working through, whatever it is, okay? It does not have to be complicated. I don't really care if you say the same thing, but we do this 3 times. And I'll do an example first. So we're working with stress and anxiety. We always start the acknowledgement with even though. We do this 3 times. Even though this stress and anxiety has not made me happy and I'm not a happy camper at home, I still completely accept myself. Eventually, I'd really like you to say, I completely love and accept myself. And I prefer that when I work with people because it's so important that you really feel this about yourself, that you really love yourself. And you're doing this because you love yourself. You're doing this because you love yourself and you want that change, okay? So it's really important that we say, I completely love and accept myself. And then we do another even though the stress and anxiety, I feel it in my stomach or I feel it my shoulders, wherever you may feel, wherever you hold your stress, it's really personal. And even though I know I'm holding it there, I still completely love and accept myself. And even though this stress and anxiety has not made me happy on a day-to-day basis, I still completely love and accept myself. Now, clearly, stress and anxiety is an umbrella. The more specific you are, the better it is, okay? You cannot do this for somebody else. This is for yourself. So when we're tapping and we're acknowledging this for ourselves. We're not saying, I really wish he or she would change. No, I really wish he or she would get a job and get out of bed at 7 o'clock in the morning. No, that's not going to cut it. Okay, everybody's in charge of their own life and making their own changes happen. So that's the acknowledgement 3 times. We'll go over these points now. You see the top of head. Now, this is a main meridian in acupuncture, but it actually is an extra meridian. So it's not an organ-related meridian. So for me to just tell you the name of it doesn't matter. It's called DU, do, okay, DU. And so we come to the top, and anybody who's into chakras, this would be our crown chakra, okay? So we start here, and this is what we do a couple of times around. Oh, one thing I want to say first, always on a scale of 1 to 10, get an idea of where you're at. Is this a situation that has you at a 10? Is this a situation you feel like you're at an 8? Is it just the beginning of something that you want to get hold of before it goes higher? Doesn't matter. Get a scale of 1 to 10, know your reference, okay? Because as we go through this, what we're going to do is do a couple of rounds of release. We want to release this obstacle, this emotion, whatever it is that you're working with, whether it's a pain in the body or a situation, we want to release that first. Again, today's stress and anxiety. So we're going to do a couple of rounds of release, okay? I am releasing the stress and anxiety I feel in my body. That's the top of the head. Okay. Then we go to the inner brow. Okay. The inner brow, right at the edge of the eyebrow here. Okay. I am releasing stress and anxiety. Side of eye. All this stress and anxiety, all these negative emotions, I am releasing them. I am done. Under the eye, right under the zygomatic bone here, right under the eye, I am releasing all negative behaviors associated with this stress and anxiety. Under the nose, I am releasing, releasing, releasing. Under the lip, the chin here, I am releasing all negativity and all negative ways of thinking. Now we come here, right around the chest here. You could pat it. You could use a couple of fingertips. It doesn't matter. You don't want to hurt yourself. We're just acknowledging I am releasing all negative behavior, all this anxiety in my body. Under the arm, I am releasing, releasing, releasing. And then right under the breast in the rib, a little bit right under the rib, releasing all negative emotions associated with the stress and anxiety. We could do that again. Top of head. I am releasing all stress and anxiety that I feel trapped in my body, my shoulders, my abdomen, wherever you feel it, my lower back. I am just releasing all of the tightness in my body. Inner brow. I am releasing all negative feelings related to the stress and anxiety. Side of eye. I am releasing all the negative behaviors and emotions that I feel that is creating the stress and anxiety. Under the eye, I am releasing, releasing, releasing. Under the nose, I am releasing all that no longer serves me. Under the lip, the chin area, releasing all the frustration and other emotions that come from this stress and anxiety. Right under the collarbone here, I'm releasing all frustration, all stress. Under the arm, releasing all the negativity, all the tightness in my body. And under the breast, I am releasing, releasing, releasing. And you just take a nice deep breath in. Okay. And then you kind of get an idea of a scale of 1 to 10. Do you feel like you're at an 8? You feel like you're at a 5, right? I work with one person. She says, kind of like a 7.5. And I says, why does it have to be 7.5? She says, can it be a 7 or an 8? She's an accountant. So I let it be. So then you get an idea. Now, clearly, the more specific you are, the better it is, because you really want to target in on what it is you're working with. Again, stress and anxiety is an umbrella of what is actually creating it. Okay. Yeah.
Same thought every night, or could it change from day to day?
You could do it any way you, if it's one specific thing that you're working with, you really want to work at that to overcome it. But how you speak to yourself, if you change the words, that's absolutely fine. That does not matter. Okay. The other thing is, I don't know if you picked up on, I am releasing. I am releasing all negative emotions, all negative behaviors. I am releasing all that no longer serves me. Positive, present moment. The power of now. Okay, present. Yes.
Is it always about releasing?
The first couple of rounds, yes. If you feel like you have to do another couple of rounds of releasing to get yourself a little lower, then feel free to do that. Absolutely. That just helps you to feel a little bit more ready to receive affirmations. Okay, now I know that was very, very brief. Did you feel any shift when, if you were doing it? Did you feel any, a little bit of a shift? I mean, it really is about being in the right environment, speaking to yourself more in like a quiet tone. Yeah, go right ahead.
She wanted to know, how does the tapping of the meridians actually release the stress?
That's a very good question, and that's what I'm going to get to next. Okay, each of these meridians have an emotion attached to it, and then we're going to do the positive affirmation first, but this is a good time to bring that in. So when we come up here, and I said this is an extra meridian, there really isn't so much of a emotion related to it, but then we're coming to the inner brow. The inner brow is actually related to the bladder, okay? And in you know, Chinese medicine or other modalities that go according to the meridians, there's a yin-yang pair for everything. So kidney and bladder kind of go hand in hand. And the emotion for that is fear. Okay, so we're really tapping into maybe anything that could be fear related. But so you would say, well, what does bladder and kidney have to do with fear? And the best example I could really give you is, say, for instance, fear is the emotion of the kidney and bladder that are yin-yang paired. If you went into some sort of a shock or trauma, what would happen to your bladder? You would urinate, right? Because fear creates that shock. And that's that yin-yang correlation, okay? That's how the organ system works together, okay? So this is bladder. Then we come to the side of the eye, and this is gallbladder. Gallbladder is yin-yang paired with liver. The emotion of liver gallbladder is anger, okay? That's a hot spot, right? You start tapping that one right away. Calm down now, calm down. Yeah, that's okay. People tell me that all the time. I don't have a gallbladder. You have the meridian. You have a gallbladder meridian, because we're not speaking about the physical organ. We're speaking about the chi of that organ system, okay? And I do get that even when I have people on the table. Well, I don't really have a gallbladder anymore, and that's okay. You still have that meridian for the gallbladder, so that's good. I'm glad you brought that up. Then we go under the eye, right under the pupil, right under the zygomatic bone, and this is stomach. Spleen and stomach are yin-yang paired. What do we have there? Worry, pensiveness. Yeah, another reaction over there. Right? So we have that. And what are we talking about when we speak about spleen, stomach, liver? We're talking about digestive issues here, aren't we? A lot of people get digestive issues when they get into that worry, pensiveness, anger mode. Okay, so that then we go under the nose and under the lip. Again, there's no correlation to emotions there. It's an extra meridian. Okay, we come here, and now here we have kidney, stomach, and lung. Okay, now kidney we already did because that's related to the bladder. Stomach we already know is related to the spleen. Okay, we have a stomach here. And then lung is grief. And grief could be anything. It's not only about death, it's loss in general. It could be loss of a childhood, loss of a job, loss of a relationship. Grief is kind of like across the board. It really just depends upon how a person relates to it, okay? So that you could be, you're moving. And even if somebody wants to move, sometimes there's loss involved with it because you're leaving an old neighborhood, or you're leaving friends that you've always had for so many years, even though you wanted to go to Florida. It's just still a little grief involved. So that could definitely affect the respiratory system. Okay, like some people might just be sensitive that way. Okay, and then we come here, and this is spleen. So we already did spleen, stomach. Okay, so spleen again is pensiveness, worrisome. And then under the rib is liver. And we already said liver, gallbladder is about anger. Now, side does not matter. Okay, if you want to do both, if you want to do spleen, give yourself a hug. It doesn't matter. The main thing is that you're doing all of this. So you could see you really tapped into a lot of emotions. And I hope that answers the question in terms of how does tapping on the meridians actually release these type of things that we're trying to overcome. Because underneath what we're trying to overcome is the emotion. It's about peeling back that onion. I worked with somebody that came to me for back pain, and it turned out underneath that emotion was guilt, right? I mean, you would just say, really? Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And it's just a really, really interesting process to work with somebody to see that these are things that just get hold in the body, because the body just takes on things at such a cellular level and at a muscular level. When we speak about, a cellular level, we're actually speaking about the kidneys. And when we speak about things at a muscular level, we're really speaking about the spleen. We have muscle memory and we have cellular memory. So we're really taking on so much trauma that just gets locked into our body. Okay. And then what we want to do after this, now that we understand that we're tapping into these powerful emotions, we want to then introduce some positive affirmations. Were there any other questions, Crystal, that you see?
No, I just have one though.
Yeah.
Should you, when you're tapping, do you go in that order?
Yes. Yes, this is the order.
You
This-
only do the karate chop?
3 times in the beginning. That's your acknowledgement. That's like saying hello to yourself, saying, listen, I know who I am. This is me. If you feel good doing it in the mirror, that's fine. Whatever works for you. But yes, that's the acknowledgement. So we're not doing that again. You do the acknowledgement each time you do the EFT, the tapping, yes. But once you do it for that session, you don't do it again. Releasing, you could do as many times as you want, but again, you kind of want to register where you're at on a scale of 1 to 10. And then we go into the positive affirmations, okay? And the releasing and the positive affirmations, this is where your enthusiasm comes in. Like, I am releasing these negative feelings. I'm done with them. I am done with them. Then they are no longer existing in my body. I do not accept this anymore, okay? We're not talking about the future. We're not talking about the past. Past is gone. The future's not here yet. We're speaking about the present. Anybody that knows Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, this is what we're speaking about. And anytime you want to speak about, universal energy or whatever, the universe knows now. Okay, it does not look at past and future. It's now. What are you doing now with yourself? Okay, so let's go to some positive affirmations. I feel great that I made this decision for myself to overcome the stress and anxiety. I feel really good. Inner brow, I am so proud of myself. Side of eye, I believe in myself. I know I am capable of overcoming the stress and anxiety. Under the eye, I am empowering myself. Under the nose, I see so many opportunities in my path. Under the lip, I know I am a better person for these changes I am making. Under the collarbone, I trust my decisions. I know who I am. I trust myself. Under the arm, I feel confident in my success. And under the breast, I see so much positive in my life. Top of head, I am so grateful for where I am right now. Inner brow, there is so many, there is so much opportunity for me right now. Side of eye, I feel empowered. Under the eye, every day I am stronger and stronger. Under the nose, there is so much good in my life now. Under the lip, I am successful. Under the collarbone, I am confident. I know who I am, and I am empowering myself. Under the arm, I am so grateful for all my positive decisions. And under the breast, every day is better and better, and today I feel great. Take a breath in. I feel good. How do you all feel? A little lighter? You know, you have to remember you're in a room around other people. It's not always the most comfortable environment, but you could see that when you give yourself these type of affirmations, how could you really just walk away and say, oh, that was a bunch of crap? You know, you're not going to do it. You really feel good. I mean, I always feel good whenever I do it. You know, it's just, it just is very, very empowering. And it really allows you to take more control over your daily decisions, over your emotions. And again, I'm repeating myself, the more specific you are, the better it works. Tap into what emotions are coming forward, okay? Acknowledge the emotions, don't bury them. Allow them, because your body is speaking to you. So allow them to come forward. You're working to overcome something. And so you have to allow yourself that space and allow that emotion to come forward. Okay. So do we have any other questions, or is there anything in particular that you would like to ask about the process? You're all a success. Yes. Uh-huh.
Does it matter if you use your fingertips or your hands?
Whatever you're comfortable with. You know, you just don't want to go too hard. Okay. So fingertips probably like in the smaller spaces here, under the eye, under 2 fingers, under the nose, whatever, 3 fingers, whatever you're comfortable with. When you get to the collarbone, you could just kind of like do a nice tap. Okay. Under the arm, a nice tap. And then just a couple of fingers right under the breast. Yeah, that's nice and comfortable. You don't need to, strike too hard. Yeah.
Is it better to repeat it more than once versus spending more time on each meridian or each point? Does that make sense?
So in other words, like how long are you here type of thing? You could say it as much as you want, but you really don't have to do more than like 7 to 10 taps. If you want to give yourself a moment of space before you go to the next one, just so you're absorbing what you said, that's fine. If you want to just do another round, that's fine too. Okay, yeah. Any other questions? No? All good? Well, I think you all have a wonderful perspective on what you could do to help yourself, and whatever it may be. I wish you all success and happiness today and every day. Thank you. Thank you for coming out this evening. I appreciate you being part of the program. Thank you, all you virtual people there, for being here. All right. All right. Very good. So you